Senzi, that is gold. That is gold. And I hope everyone listening like takes that, rewind it, listen to it again.
Yes.
That's gold right there. I love it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Sean Lowery Show. This is episode 103. Like and subscribe to the podcast if you feel like it. It'll help me out. And I'm here today with Senzi. Senzi, how do you say your last name, Senzi?
Nsenzi Salasini.
Senzi
It sounds
Salasini.
Italian, right?
It does sound Italian.
Right?
It sounds very Italian.
It's
yeah.
not.
Yeah. And I've read it like 5 times. I've been checking out your YouTube channel, I've been checking out your Instagram, and checking out your website. And dude, I love what you're doing. So why don't you tell the audience just about yourself, kind of a little, little baseline, who you are. And let's hear it.
Yeah, man. No, plain and simple. I'll keep it simple for you guys. Of course, my name is Nsenzi Salasini. Essentially, I'm the guy who marketers and business owners come to when they need help to get customers predictably, right? Essentially, in a nutshell, that's the guy I am.
That's you. All right.
Yeah.
I read that you started your business in your mom's basement. Is that accurate?
Yes, it is. Yes,
well, let me say we are in a club because I also started my business in my mom's basement. So
I feel like everyone does, man. Shout out to moms.
Everyone, but shout out to our moms. Yeah. Mom, if you're listening, thank you for letting me use your basement. That's awesome, dude. Like, so you help entrepreneurs, right? So your customers, your clients are entrepreneurs.
Yeah. More specifically, go ahead.
I was gonna say, so you see a lot of entrepreneurs who are like trying to start up what they're doing. Is that right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And why is it so appealing for people to want to become entrepreneurs?
Man, that's a good question, especially in like today's day and age with social media. You got guys like Gary Vee out there, right, pushing entrepreneurship. So I think a lot of people want the title, but they quickly find out that the work that goes into it, it's not easy, right? That's why the failure rate's so high. But however, I do believe that the image social media has put on and the title, right, the sexy title of entrepreneurship is what makes people want to get into it until they quickly find out what it actually takes to embody that definition of an entrepreneur.
Right. It's sexy because like they want to be like Elon Musk. They want to be their own boss, have all the money in the world, not have anyone to answer to. It's like a cool thing to be an entrepreneur. But like, oh man, it's actually the most like hurtful and lonely and like painful event. And that's why a lot of people probably give up early. Do you see that a lot?
Yeah, I do. The thing is too, is like you said, entrepreneurship from what I've found, right, from having a sports background, is arguably, if not the most loneliest sport on the planet, right? Because like you said, you have employees and things like that. Even though you may have employees and people close to you, they don't carry that same burden as the CEO, right? They don't. So it is 100% the most loneliest sport in the world. That's why I'm big on surrounding yourself with an environment of people who are in that same boat, right? However, to answer your question, when you say, do I see a lot of people fail? Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, there is work required, right? It's like a lot of people who buy a gym membership, but then they don't go to the gym, right? A lot of people who hire a personal trainer, but they don't lose the weight, right? There is work required to get the result that you want.
I think it's funny when some people, they're like, yeah, I got like my business like license. Like I got I filled out a form and I got like the paperwork. I'm like, dude, I didn't do that till like 8 months in till I had to. Like just start figuring out your market, start figuring out your customer. Like don't worry about stuff like that. But they think like, yeah, they kind of got that title. They're like proud of the paperwork. So yes, it's hard. And I think, a lot of people talk about that, the message of how hard it is. And I think, people maybe kind of understand, then they try it on their own, but maybe sometimes people fail because they had the wrong product market fit. They had the wrong idea. They didn't like go through things with the right way. Like, is it always they fail early on because they just didn't understand the hard work, or you think there's other reasons?
Yeah, man. I've seen across the board many reasons, but you touched on something that I touch on quite a bit. It sounds like you've gone through some of my content. The product market fit is one of the biggest reasons I see people fail, not because they don't get product market fit. It's because of how long it takes them to get there, right? So for example, I see this almost all the time. is someone will say, I'm excited, right? I got my paperwork done, got my business ready, all that good stuff, right? And then they go and they build out, let's say they build out a program, they go learn the service, they learn whatever it may be. And then it takes them, let's say 6 months, 8 months, maybe even a year to build out this business before they start actually bringing it to the market. So you spend a year of energy, you're excited, but it's a lot of energy. And then when you take it to the market, they don't want it.
Yeah.
Right. So you built this thing in your head that you thought would sell. And then when people say, I don't want that thing, now you feel so deflated. And that's when quitting happens, because you think psychologically it's telling you it's going to take me another year, 6 months, 8 months to get people to buy again. When in reality, you should have went to the market first to say, do you want this thing?
That seems like a long time. Like you said, like 8 months, a year until you go to market. Like, what are you waiting for?
Put it this way, man, you'll hear people all across the board. I'm building my website. Oh, I'm working on my logo. I'm doing my branding, doing every single thing outside of the thing that actually matters, right?
I love the logo one. The logo one's hilarious.
My goodness. My colors aren't right. My button on my website isn't where it needs to be, right? It's doing every single other thing in business except going out to get the business. And even worse, going out and getting market validation first. People saying, yes, I want your product. I want your service. And the only way you get that is if someone votes with their dollars, right? Don't ask your mom, don't ask your dad, don't ask your cousin, because they'll say, hey, Sean, you're doing a great job. It's great. Well, do you want to buy? No, but you're doing great though, right? That's just good for your confidence. No, we need to get people to vote with our dollars. But that's one of the biggest reasons I see people falling off, is because they put so much effort into building the service or building whatever it is before they even go out to market. And once they go to market says no.
Yeah, and your mom and your mom and your grandma and your sister and your cousin, they don't count as the market.
No.
Like they're just, oh, I got 4 sales my first day. Yeah, it's your grandma. Like it doesn't count. You didn't find your niche yet. Like that's just somebody who just supports you and they think it's cute. And by the way, I don't think my mom ever listens to my podcast, cares about my business anymore. At first she was like, cool. But they fade off because unless they're part of the market, then they'll care about it.
Right.
But so all right. So if you are young and you are ready to start a business, you love the idea of it. I feel like a lot of people these days, they try to start like a podcast or content. Like, what do you think is the best route to go for like product, content, service? Like, what do you think is like the best path for somebody who's just starting as an entrepreneur to choose out of those things?
So the first thing I'd say is go out and actually, again, it goes back to what we just talked about, is go out and get validation first. Ask the market if they want the thing, right? Once they want the thing, now you can go out and build it the way the market wants it. Because chances are you only surveyed one person, which is you, right? So you don't have a very good idea what the market wants. Now, once you have what the market wants, you want to just go out and start doing outreach. Now, this is assuming you don't have the dollars to spend on ads, right? You don't have a funnel in place, nothing, all that techie stuff can come later, right? First, you need to speak to your market and figure out what they want. And those first few customers will tell you if content is where you should go or fulfillment is where you should go. They'll tell you where you're missing and where the holes are. That's where you want to take that direction from. You never want to go based on what I think will work, because the market will tell you most likely different because you've only surveyed one person.
Right. But even a step back, when I started, I sell clothing. I sell girls' clothing. I found this niche of monograms over years of trial. When I first had my business called United Tees, I kind of didn't put my face on it. I kind of acted like it was bigger than it was. It wasn't like me. It was just more of a website, and it was hidden behind a logo or a Twitter account. And I thought that worked because I was nothing. I was like, hey, I'm not a big person yet. I'm not anything. So just this product or this Twitter account or whatever it was. But I did know that I wanted to sell a product. And the one thing I like about selling a product is you can still not be doing well, but you can get revenue. If you sell a couple shirts, you can maybe make a payment to your credit card. Content is it's much harder to monetize early on. Would you agree with that?
So you mean when you say content, you mean like information,
information based? Yes, information.
Yeah.
That could be a
so
course,
selling
a book,
information,
whatever. Yeah, selling information is I feel like you don't get your first revenue dollar till much later.
Got it. Got it. So I thought you meant content as in like YouTube and start creating content to sell the thing. So you mean selling information. So
Yeah, I do.
yeah. So I mean, with that, man, honestly, I mean, we work with clients all the time who have their first sale within 7 days. Because here's the reality of it is
Sale
there's
of what?
always of a course or mainly a
Okay.
program, right?
Information product that costs
It,
money.
info product, exactly. And
Gotcha.
I know the biggest hurdle I see is like you just said, right? I'm a nobody.
Right.
Who's gonna buy my information, right?
Right.
But the reality is there's always somebody who's a step or two behind you. That's all you really need. Because there's, I mean, so I'll give an example. Right now, I have no idea how to play the piano. And that's something I want to learn later in life, right? But there's somebody who's maybe decent playing the piano, no name, as opposed to, big piano names. I would go out and hire someone who is decent at playing the piano because I'm at step zero,
Right.
right? So someone will always pay for your knowledge, whether it be for you to do it for them or for you to do it with them, aka like a coaching program. However, as long as you're a step or two ahead of someone and you can actually help them get that result, then you can help them.
Well,
Someone will
yeah.
pay you for help.
Well, ideally, wouldn't you want the best piano player to teach you?
Ideally, of course, but then now it becomes, do I really want to, right? It depends, right? Do I really want to pay X amount of dollars for the top of the top when maybe I don't really want to become the best piano player? I just want to know how to play enough for my girl,
Mm.
right? So it really does
There's the
depend.
market. That's the market.
Exactly. So now you have your product market fit. You're not talking to people who want to become star piano players. You're
Right.
talking to people who, hey, you want to pick up a little hobby on the side? I'll teach you. Right. Something
Right.
simple like that. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly. And that's for the people listening. That is, if you're selling that piano course, you have to find your market. And maybe your market is people who aren't trying to like make a career out of it. It's a hobby.
Right.
That'd be a different information, different sales process, different
Right.
everything than if you're trying to train someone to be in like Dave Matthews Band or something,
Right.
Like,
Right. It's a whole different market, right? Whole different market. And chances are the person who wants to go and be in the Dave Matthews Band already has some skills, right? They're already probably a little
right.
bit past you
They're not
anyway.
going to
If
sign
you're
up
at
for
the,
your course.
yeah, exactly. They want to actually learn from Dave Matthews, right? From the Dave Matthews Band.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I get it. And product market fit is so important. And you might think that piano coaching lessons, for example,
Right.
is
Right.
one market, but it could be multiple markets.
Right.
Yeah. And then yeah, you said within 7 days, you got
Yeah.
most people they sell an information product.
Well, I shouldn't say most people. I didn't say most people. It's more
Okay.
so
Fair.
I've had clients sell within 7 days. But again, it's now going into where are you in your business, right? If you have no experience, zero, anything, chances are it's going to take you a little bit longer to get there. Right. But then also you're talking about, do you have kids? Do you have obligations? Right. How much time do you have to invest into the business and how dedicated are you? Right. But I've seen people come in 7 days making a sale. Right. It's simple if you have the time. Right.
Right. And I know you talk a lot about funnels.
Yeah.
Which I understand a marketing funnel. You
Yeah.
reach out to a cold audience, they like a video or something, then you retarget them, kind of back to like wherever you're trying to get them to make the purchase. But information products, it's definitely like more necessary to have a funnel. Not someone like what I sell is like a little bit of an impulse buy of like a smaller $20, $30 that you're just gonna get in the mail. It's like a piece of clothing. And like that's why like I think, do you think funnels are more important for like information products than they are for like physical products?
It depends on what kind of funnel you mean, because at the end of the day, a funnel, every business uses a funnel.
True.
Right. It just depends on which type of funnel. Even like, for example, right now, if I were to shop at Target, this is what Target's funnel or Walmart's funnel, whatever your local department store funnel looks like. You see an ad on TV. The ad says 50% off, whatever. You get up off your couch, you go to the store, you pick up the item. That's the next step in the funnel, right? Then you go to you go to the shopping cart center to check out. You check out, you pay, then they give you an upsell on the gum, right? That's the back end of the funnel, right? So every business has a funnel. However, what I've found is being in the service-based business, service-based, information-based coaches, consultants, that world is, you are right. When you're online, you want to build a relationship with that person, with that cold audience. So there are some steps to it, right? You can't just go straight from cold audience to buy my stuff. They have no idea who you are, like you said.
Right.
So I'm always big on, and even if you're selling products or anything online, I'm always big on delivering value first, because that's how you can get someone to now have that law of reciprocity, right? This
Right.
person taught me or helped me with this, get a little micro win for free. I'm going to go and see what they're talking about on the back end, because if I'll say for ours, right? People hop on our free content and they get so much value that the question is, what's going to happen when I pay this guy? That's what you want, right? If he gave me this much for free and I got this result, what happens when I pay him? Right. And you've seen the results on the back end. So
right. Yeah.
that's really
The
essential.
law of reciprocity. That's like a powerful, ingrained human law. You know, you feel like you
Marketing.
owe someone something. Exactly. So that's
That's
awesome,
marketing.
man. That's marketing. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah. So I want to talk about advertising, right? I
Yep.
do a lot of Facebook ads, a lot of
Yep.
digital advertising. I've spent a lot of money.
Yep.
All right, here's my first question. I want you to like rank, like in a general sense, like the best advertising platforms that are out there.
In a general sense, right now, it depends
Yeah.
on what are you doing, right?
Right. Exactly. That's why I said a general
Right.
sense.
In a general sense, right now, man, I'll be honest, we're loving Google and YouTube. And this is more so, one, because it's a little more blue ocean than Facebook. And for the longest time, I loved Facebook. That's where I got my start, right? That's how I built my ad agency. That's how I've helped. That's where we've spent most of our dollars. That's what I'm like a whiz with. However, what I've found is Google and YouTube, or YouTube really, because, YouTube, Google, right? Google owns YouTube.
Same, Rick. Yeah.
Same thing, right? So just to give you guys clarity, it requires you to get on video. That's a huge barrier for most people. So less competition. Not only do you have to get on video, but you have to now be able to take your copywriting skills that you used on Facebook, if you're a good copywriter, and put them into video form. Whole different animal. And fortunately for myself, I've gotten used to video over the years, but no one starts out good on video. But it's more so, again, putting in that work. Are you okay with sucking at video for a little bit to win later on? Right. And we're okay with that. So long story long is
that's number one.
That's number one is YouTube. And then it goes to Facebook, of course, because Facebook still crushes it, even with everything that's going on with iOS updates and all that.
I want to talk about
crushing it.
But I figured that'd be your 1 and 2. I'm curious to see what your number 3 might be.
Number 3 is, now we go to GDN, Google Display Network.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And that's just more so. What was that?
I don't use that. That's like showing your ads like across platforms. Like if someone's on a blog, it'll show up. I thought sometimes, so I don't do that. I just run Facebook ads, and I swear sometimes like we see our ads out there somewhere. I feel like they shoot them out. But okay, GDN
Audience
number
network.
3.
Yeah.
GDN number 3. Like I'm curious, like if you like what other ones would be like even relevant to talk about.
It depends on your market, right? We have a lot of B2B clients, so LinkedIn. And to be honest, if I was talking directly to them, I would put LinkedIn at even number 2, right? Only because
B2B LinkedIn is much higher.
Exactly. However, just for transparency, LinkedIn is more expensive because they know the market, right? That is literally a buying market, as opposed to Facebook, Google, YouTube. Those are more people consuming, and you have to be kind of really good at ads to get them to take action. However, LinkedIn is a buying. They're there to do business, right? So I would put LinkedIn up there too.
Okay. Like, what about, have you tried TikTok ads?
No, my market's not there. It's funny. You're not the first person to talk about that, but my market's not on TikTok because it's a little bit more younger audience. But I think over time, as I'm starting to speak to more people, TikTok will become like Instagram, where even the older generation, quote, older, will move on to it, and that's when you can now hit them with ads. But for now, it's not a pay to play it's not a pay to pay platform just yet. Whereas Instagram and Facebook are now literally pay to play.
No, TikTok has an ad platform. Like it's so I haven't had any success with it. I'll want to talk about Facebook in a second, but I'm always trying to find out like the other ones, like the other things. Like so TikTok comes out with an ad platform. I get on it, and like I have this one ad, a couple ads running. I gave them permission to spend $7,200 a day and get a cost per conversion at $58, which is like I would lose so much money on. I just wanted to get the ball rolling, and it's only spent like 4 cents. I can't get it to spend any money. I'm sure I need to like redo my creative. I mean, but I'm just like, I'm over here. I'm trying. I'm a new advertiser. Like, spend some money. If I lose it, that's my creative's fault. But like, no, I can't get it to spend any money. I've had some success with Snapchat ads over the years, like a little bit, like, the money's better spent on Facebook. So it's like, that's my thing. I want to try these other ones. So I know Pinterest, I sell girls clothing. Pinterest seems like it'd be an amazing market. Spent money on there, nothing. And I actually get we have like 10,000 followers on our Pinterest. We don't get any traffic from our website from Pinterest, like such a small percentage. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the reason I'm like so interested in these other ad platforms is because all my money goes to Facebook. All my eggs are in one basket.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about two things, but the first one is I saw you at a video and I purposely didn't watch it because I wanted to ask you about it.
Yeah.
May of this month or May of this year, a couple months ago, was like the worst month of my life because my Facebook account got disabled. And let me explain to you the logic. And I want you to, because I saw you at a video about Facebook pages being disabled.
Yeah.
For 6 years, I spent like $4 million on my Facebook page, and I had a login. It was my business email, Sean@LoweryBrands.com, and like the profile was kind of like a business, but I really only had it for my business managers, right? I really only had it so like I could run the pages and stuff like that. After 6 years, $4 million spent, they told me that you can't do that. You're supposed to have like your personal profile be like the account, and I was like, okay. So for 24 days, I had no access to my assets, my page, my ad account, my pixel, and it was like crushing. And
Yeah.
I, what is your take on Facebook accounts being disabled?
Yeah, man, that's been happening a lot since like mid early Q1. I think it has to do a lot with, well, first off, they've enacted a lot of restrictions, and they're really more so just catching up to other platforms, right? If you're familiar with Google, they have some pretty heavy restrictions on people who just open up ad accounts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they have a lot more restrictions on the back end, but I think it's because maybe they're a bit bigger, right, when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
ads. However, with Facebook, I'll say first things first. I do not work for Facebook. I do not, I'm not affiliated with them whatsoever. I just give them money and they pay me back in conversions, right?
Damn.
But I got to give that disclaimer, right? But with that being said, though, man, what they're doing now, we found this with a lot of our accounts and our clients too. When they're enacting these new restrictions, they're going to give you, I'm sure they gave you a quick, 2 to 3 sentence clip, right?
Vague.
And just said,
vague.
If even, right? If even.
Yeah. Like
So
basically they're not telling you why.
Exactly. And they keep it real generic and they send you a link to say, hey, read these policies, right? And you're like, okay, well, where's my real answer? You know what I mean? But with that though, what I tell everyone, and even in that video, you guys can go check it out, it's on YouTube, is number one, make sure you're following ad policies, right? That's pretty simple, straightforward, right? But number two, have backups. Have backups.
We've had backups. One of the lessons I learned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We've had backups for a while. We've never had to use them. However, we always want to have backups, and I probably shouldn't be saying this publicly.
Explain backups, like just like another like account, someone else having access to it, or
yeah.
like
Yep.
Right.
So you want to have I know it's a little bit iffy, but you want to have your employees be on there, right, as admins, because if you get blocked as your personal profile, you can still log in, or your employees can still log in, or your mom, your dad, your cousin, it doesn't matter. Just another Facebook account that can log in and have access to your BM, to your business manager. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then also you want to have multiple ad accounts as well.
Yeah.
Even if they're empty, right? Just have multiple ad accounts as well, because then you're protected in the event that something does happen. You can just transfer things over to that new ad account, right? So
that's huge.
It's always good to have backups. You want to plan for the worst and hope for the best, because when you're putting all your money into Facebook and they decide to just go cold turkey on you, it gets ugly, man. It gets ugly.
Yeah, it was ugly. So for those of you who like might not understand, it's like you have your profile, you have your business manager, your accounts, and then instead, this is what I used to do. I had my customer service team and my sales team. They would log in with like my email, my password. You don't want to do that. You want to send them a request so that they can join with their own Facebook profile, and that makes a huge difference. That's what they want you to do. But yeah, dude, it was like the most painful 24 days of my life. And I swear their customer service is there to haunt your dreams and your nightmares.
Here's Johnny.
Like literally had this dream during this 24-day stretch where like I was in the bed. Actually, speaking of our moms earlier, my mom was in the ambulance and she was like dying. And I was in the thing, and the ambulance driver wouldn't drive. He wouldn't go. And I was like, drive to the ER. And the ambulance driver turned around and it was like the face that I imagined that my Facebook concierge service person was. Like, it was literally haunting my dreams. Like, it was crazy. It was so awkward with my employees. Like, our sales were down. It was terrible, man.
Well, let me ask you this, man. Did you get in touch with the chat support?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that eventually was through email only.
Yeah. So in the video, I go over this little like secret path on the back end. It's not even secret. It's just they don't advertise it. And it's funny because it looks grayed out, but it's not a grayed out button. It's actually, it's a clickable button, but it looks grayed out.
Really?
They're slick, man. They are slick.
Wow. I deal with a lot of grayed out buttons. So I
There you go.
probably could have learned from that.
There you go. So
Yeah.
if you click that button, you can get directly to someone, assuming you don't have, a Facebook rep to directly speak to. Using that button, you usually get a little more of a direct answer so that you can pivot faster, right? Because most people have learned is when they get blocked, they're kind of stuck in limbo for as many days until Facebook responds or whoever responds. But at least with that chat support, you can get an answer. And if it's a no for sure, they just put the hammer down. Okay, great. Next, I'm gonna pivot.
Right.
At least you have an answer either one way, right?
Exactly. And what they did for me was they transferred all of my business assets from that account, which is still disabled, over to my personal Facebook account. And I think that's why it took so long, because like there's like some logistics to that on the back end. And oh dude, it was painful. But I think the lesson of the takeaway is have some backup accounts. And respect the policies, which I was not doing. I mean, I guess I honestly, to be honest, I did hear before that you want other people to log in, but I didn't want to ask my customer service person to use their personal Facebook to log in. It was a little, I was just like, log in with mine. So I guess respect every rule that you hear.
100%.
All right. So other thing with Facebook is the battle between Facebook and Apple. And for those of you who don't know, tell me if you understand it the same way I do. Facebook, it says we're for small businesses. Apple says we are going to put up a pop-up on every single app that says allow or not allow. People are naturally going to hit not allow. By the way, people, hit allow. It's like it's only going to give you products that you like more. They're not sneaking into your house or anything like that. But they put much more privacy things on their apps, on their phone, on their device in the new update, and that really affects how Facebook is allowed to track what pages you were on. If you were on trying to buy a toilet seat, and then they'll send you an ad for a toilet seat, like something like that. And Facebook was saying like, this is hurting small businesses. It's a battle between the two things. So that's Facebook was freaking out. Did you see those like messages they sent early on? I was like, wow, I sense a lot of panic in Facebook's like tone about this. They were very much freaking out, and that's like in effect now. And I'm trying to learn. I've noticed it a little bit. Like, have you seen a massive effect on all the Facebook ads since the iOS 14 update?
That's a good question. The first thing I want to address is because a lot of people who are maybe thinking about getting into ads or just starting out getting into ads and aren't really like seasoned yet, spending a lot yet, where it's actually the blunt force of your business, is understand this. Before you go complaining, before you go crying about it, it's happening to everyone, right? Everyone, from your business to Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Apple themselves, if they're advertising on Facebook, are affected. Right. So everyone's affected. I don't like hearing people complain about, oh my goodness, it doesn't work anymore. No, it works. Everyone's affected.
Right.
With that being said, understand it's not just Facebook that's been affected. It's all tracking platforms. So if you're running ads anywhere, TikTok, YouTube, Snapchat, Google,
maybe that's why my TikTok isn't doing anything.
Right. But again, the other platforms just didn't have as much of a public outcry as Facebook did. But again, I can dive into probably more so why Facebook had more of an outcry, because their algorithms geared towards conversions and actions, as opposed to Google's geared towards intent and search.
Exactly.
I'm not going to dive into that. That's more, high tech stuff. However, to answer your question, have we noticed a difference? We have. However, on the back end, you never wanted to, even to begin with, you never wanted to utilize Facebook for your tracking anyway, right? I mean, it's great to get some digits, but you always want to look at what's actually happening in your company as opposed to what Facebook's telling you is happening. Right. And that's any ad platform, right? You always want to look at the actual stats that you have on paper as opposed to what Facebook's telling you is really happening. And then on the other end, I mean, like I said earlier, it's happening to everyone, right? So if you're seeing less conversions, if you're seeing higher ad costs, if you're seeing any differences, it's not a woe is me problem. Everyone's dealing with it, right? It's entrepreneurship. Things will keep on changing. I was
going to say, the entrepreneurial mindset is like, okay, everything's shuffling. This is my chance to jump in and like maybe figure out what's working and be better and first at it and get a little leg up.
Exactly.
And I've been thinking like that, but I still don't have the answers. I don't know like what exactly to do differently. I've been creating audiences from like my email list as opposed to like from like my website visitors and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if it's been working. I don't know.
I mean, that's one workaround, right? That's one
Yeah.
workaround. And the only challenge is if they have uh, the privacy turned on so they can't be tracked, then you wouldn't be able to see if they've converted in Facebook or X platform. However, always look on the back end to see if they converted or not. Never make your judgments based on what Facebook is telling you is converting or any ad platform is telling you is converting.
What I track is I have a this system called Grow. I got my revenue and I got my ad spend and I have the percentage of it. That doesn't change with iOS. That's a very simple metric. It's just revenue or ad spend divided by revenue. What percent is it? I need it to be like 23, 24%. And then I always needed my return on ad spend to be 2.5. But now I'm noticing like a 1.2 is getting me like that 24%. So I'm like, all right, I need a 1.2. But that's just like what I'm learning early on in this. But it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, that's just how it's going to be. I mean, everyone was affected, right? Everyone's numbers went down. But go ahead.
Yeah, it's so like we're talking about this as marketers, as people who run Facebook ads. And it's a lot of the same tactics. Have a good creative, find the right audience. Like if it's working, keep spending money and stuff. But in like a bigger picture sense, I heard someone say that we're going to look back at like 2000 to 2019 or 2021 and be like, that was the era where we couldn't believe how much data we were able to use for advertising, right? Like, do you think like, it's like big picture, like, do you think it's like good for the world? Do people actually now have more privacy? Like from like a bigger, like moral perspective, like, I don't know. Do you think Apple's just trying to like privacy's trendy? So we're going to like do this campaign about privacy and we'll get people will like us more. What do you think, like big picture about it?
Two things. Number one, because Apple has done it, I do see other phone platforms, tech world going that direction, strictly because when Goliath does it, everyone else must follow, right? So I see over time, everyone's going to kind of go that direction. However, what we got to understand is your privacy, there's so many ways around it with the internet, right? So at the end of the day, what I've come to realize is you can do your best, but as long as you buy something online, even when you buy a house, right, your information is online. So at the end of the day, if someone is a hacker or whatever it may be doing sketchy stuff online, and if they really want to find whatever they want to find, they'll find a way to find it, right? I mean, every single year you hear about different banks, different institutions getting hacked into, right? So social media may be the one that makes the big news, but these other banks and institutions are just better at hiding the news and covering it up. However, there's many, many other institutions where your information is that are broken into every single month if you watch the right news and listen to the right things. But because social media gets all the publicity, that's where you think your privacy is, but it's already been out there, man. So at this point, just do your best to protect it.
And fear is like a powerful like emotion, a human emotion, a driving emotion. Like I always try to think this, like, what do people fear about allowing an app to track them? I mean, what do they think that's going to result in? Like someone breaking into their home or something? What do you think the fear lies in?
It's really fear of the unknown. So which is the biggest fear on the planet when you don't know what's on the other side. However, as an advertiser, as you know, like you said earlier, right, guys opt in because you can see better ads, but people don't know that, right? But people don't know that, right? So the reality is when you opt into ads, you're going to start seeing relevant content, right? Relevant content, relevant ads, right? But then if you don't opt in, I might start seeing ads about makeup. Like, you know what I mean? It's not, I don't wear makeup, right? I might start seeing, hair care ads. I don't care for my hair. So it's going to actually diminish and hurt my social media experience, right? Because you're going to see ads anyway. That's one thing people need to understand is they're going to serve you ads anyway. Right. You might as well see ads of stuff that you're actually interested in, as opposed to stuff that you're like, why am I seeing this? Right. So,
I've heard people say, oh, well, that's actually good because then I won't buy stuff I don't need. But like, it's not just stuff. It's also like, do you love the NBA? Well, like you can, here's like a clip or something about that. Like,
it's really everything, right? It's what makes social media tick. It's all about relevancy and engagement, right? So if you want to hurt your experience, then opt out, but just understand you're going to see stuff that's less relevant to you, right? So I really do think it's that fear of the unknown, is you just don't really know what you're opting into, as opposed to understanding, oh, this is actually going to enhance my experience, right? It's that thing of when you get on a call with somebody and they have no idea who you are, automatically they're kind of like, wait, why are we on this call? You know what I mean? But it's like, no, hey, wait, listen, I'm trying to help you, right? But it's just that fear of the unknown. Everyone's natural reaction is no, opt out. I don't want it, this, right? Even when you walk into a store, hey, man, I help you? No, no, I'm okay. When really you need help, like I got to find something. But the initial reactions, no, 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 I'm good, I'm good. You know what I mean? So that's really all it is.
Yeah. It's interesting, man. And like, it's curious to see how it'll like, I don't know. I'm an advertiser, so I feel like I might like shape the world going forward. Like now I need to, when my customer wants a product, I need them to think about me rather than me being in front of them, like, which makes maybe branding more important than like, than ads. Like, how are you as somebody who does Facebook ads all the time? Are you kind of staying the course, keeping the same approach, understand that it's changing? You might have to have different return on ad spend numbers, or are you looking at it like, I need to reapproach marketing as a whole?
Yeah. So not reapproach marketing as a whole, because it doesn't change, right? The concept is still the same. Top of the funnel, you just want to engage people, right? Brand awareness, engagement. And as you go, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel, right? Sales. So the only difference is what you want to do now, or what we're doing a lot more of now. And this is a little nugget for you guys, so get your pen and paper out, is you want to be more engaging up top. Number one, you have to advertise better, right? Period. Because now I'll put it this way. There was a time way back in the day where you can actually advertise to specific people and like based on their actual code in Facebook, right? However, that's gone now. So now people at that point were freaking out. Oh my goodness, I can't do that anymore. You had to pivot. This is just another hurdle, right? That you have to now just pivot. So again, pivoting now, you have to be a better marketer, right? Period. So you got to be more engaging up top, because what you got to realize is when people are leaving Facebook or any platform, they may not be able to be tracked because they opted out. However, when they're on Facebook, and if they like, comment, engage, like your content and enjoy it, they're now in your custom audience. I don't want to dive too techie into it, but now you can retarget that person, right? So now you're forced to have more engaging content. You're forced to provide more value up front, where someone says, oh my goodness, I love this ad. I love this post. Thank you for this. Like, so now you're forced to actually do a better job. And this is where it's really going to start to weed out the entrepreneurs who are serious versus the people who are kind of just throwing stuff at the wall and hoping it sticks, or even worse, copying someone else's ads and hoping it works for you. We see that all the time.
Wow. Yeah, that's good. So you're not done with Facebook. You're not stopping with Facebook. Yeah, of course not. So like I'm obviously mad that I got Facebook disabled, but the whole time I never said the words like I hate them, because I was like, obviously they're very important to me.
It's profitable.
And, like, and I'm trying these other things. I'd love to not have like to depend on them, but I'm trying these other things. But it's like, it's not really working. I really wish I had that ad account back.
Yeah.
But that is it's a great place to be. Like Facebook, and but it also ultimately, like, Tesla doesn't advertise. Like they are known through, I guess, like media and just Elon Musk in general. Like any way you get people there, that's the goal. That's the goal. And imagine how great that would be. Imagine how great it would be for your business. You don't have to run ads. You're just so famous that everyone just like follows your every move and comes to your site.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, man. It's like Facebook is great for what maybe you and I do. However, if you're selling crosses, go to a church.
Right.
That's like, go where your market is. Right. I don't think Elon Musk, I mean, people are going to buy Teslas here and there, but that may not be where his greatest efforts are placed to be, or marketing dollars are placed to be. So you want to get the eyeballs of where your traffic is, right? Where your audience is. Like I said, B2B earlier, that's why I brought in LinkedIn, is because, I mean, we crush it with B2B on Facebook and Google. However, LinkedIn is this like hidden secret for B2B, right? Go where your market is, right? Again, if you're selling crosses, go to a church, right? So just go where your market is.
Right. Yeah, it's a fun world. It's a fun world.
Oh yeah.
And it all comes back to the thing we talked about in the beginning, product market fit. So if you're an entrepreneur, pick what you want to sell, pick your product, and then just keep pounding and find the market you like, whether it be at a church or whether it be like online or anything. It's cool, man. It's cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You happy with where you're at? You're happy with like what you're doing? Like, is your business going well?
Yeah, man, I'm happy about it. Only because now things have shifted a little bit. Because when we do more of the agency done for you work, it's great, right? Love the results, love the relationships with clients, etc. However, with the consulting side of the business, you're really starting to see a lot more fulfillment, because people are saying, you actually changed my life,
What do you
right?
mean by fulfillment? Oh, like what do you mean by fulfillment in that context?
So fulfillment is for me as a person feeling like
Okay.
just really feeling good at night, right? Going to sleep
Okay. Like
and
self
because
fulfillment.
yeah, because you have people who it's that old saying, right? Kind of like I just gave you an old saying of if you're selling crosses, go to church. It's this old saying of I'd rather teach a man how to fish than give you a fish, right? With the
Yeah.
agency side, we're just giving our clients fish, and it's kind of you talk once or twice a month, what went in, what went out, nothing really. But then when we're teaching people how to leverage systems and online advertising and even organic traffic, how to get product market fit, how to validate, how to get client and really scale predictably, then you have people coming in and saying, listen, you actually changed my life. Like my marriage was in disarray because of course, you know how it goes when your business isn't going well, it leaks into your personal life and you know how that goes. So when you hear those stories, I've I've just become so much more happy with where I'm at because the consulting side of the business has given me that much more self fulfillment, if you call it.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
best
man.
feeling. Is that the best feeling in the world? Like someone telling you, like you helped me. You
Yeah.
love
Oh
that.
yeah.
Is that what
Oh yeah.
your what would be like your ultimate like? So you're doing those two things, and like obviously the bigger your profile gets, the more that will help that, right?
Right. Right.
Um, like what's your ultimate dream? Like where you'll be like by the end of your life?
Man, on a beach. On a
Really?
beach.
I don't
No, I
agree
mean
with
put it
that.
this way.
I never want to go to the
I'm
beach.
no, I'll put it this way. In being all honesty, I'm a workhorse, right? That's just how I am, right? Even though everything in the business is systemized, I'm big on like working in seasons, right? Hustle for 90 days and then reap for 90 days. So for me, when I say on the beach, it's more so I want to be able to, later down the road have looked at not a 90-day sprint, more of like a 10, 15, 20-year sprint, and then take at least a couple years or maybe even like
Ah,
to just really kick it and understand that everything I've accomplished was the sprint. Does that make sense?
yeah, it makes
Because
sense.
yeah, because right now I'm in the hustle, which I love to do. But down the road, I'll be able to like look back and be like, man, okay, we did that. We really
Yeah.
did that.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
makes
yeah,
sense. I like I don't necessarily have the same philosophy. Mine right now is
yeah,
like I'm gonna die on the factory floor and I'm 95. And like I had this guy named Elliot Hulse on my podcast.
yeah,
He was like this huge, you know him?
yeah,
He's
yeah.
like
I
this
actually
huge
saw a little clip of it. Yeah,
yeah, he's a huge weightlifting guy. And he said something very interesting to me because he was huge, like couple like he's still pretty big, but he was huge like 10 years ago. Like when I had him
yeah,
on, so
yeah,
many people were like, he got me into working out. And he told me like when he was like 34, 35, like he like hit some burnout and
yeah,
he never expected that. And I've been hustling since I've been 21. I'm like early 30s. I'm 32.
yeah,
And like I don't feel that coming on. I don't expect any burnout. Like I said, I want to die on the factory floor. That's how I feel right now. But
yeah, yeah.
I am open-minded to the when he said that, I was like, dang, that could be me. So you're maybe like a little wiser than me,
Or not.
foreseeing that, or not. I don't know.
Or
Yeah,
not. I mean, again, it's like for me, people talk about, oh my goodness, burnout, right? Things of that nature. For me, I've just learned it's like it's more so working in seasons, right? 90-day
working in
sprints,
seasons. Okay.
right? 90-day sprints, just go balls to the wall in 90 days. And then chances are at the end of those 90 days, if you do it right, you'll be in a good place to now, okay, let me reap the rewards. But then you're going to plateau again, right? Once you plateau, because you're going to operate at that same level of effort, then you got to have another 90-day sprint, right? If you want to keep climbing that ladder. But if you're always going like this, I just predict burnout happening sooner than later. But again,
Right.
I could be wrong. Who knows?
And I guess yeah, everyone is like a little different, but like
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I wonder if Jeff Bezos ever just chills. Like it seems like he's
Right.
always going. I
Right.
guess you don't know. You don't know.
The
But
guy's going to space now, so he's doing something right.
yeah, like I feel like he. If I had to guess, I don't know him personally. Obviously, he's not
Yeah. Yeah.
very public. It doesn't
Yeah.
seem like he like takes 90 days and like doesn't do anything. Like seems
Right.
like he's always
Yeah. Yeah.
going. But
Yeah.
he got divorced. I don't know. Maybe he's like got some problems. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
That guy's living, man. He's living.
I
He's got
trade
the
life
whole
for him.
business systemized.
Yeah, dude, he's the man. Like, what do you like? So as like a content person, like, obviously that does help your businesses if you get more recognition. Like, what do you think it is that makes somebody stand out in
In
general
in content or in business?
in content?
Um, that's subjective because, for example, in my content, and I say this because in the beginning, I was under the impression that I had to impress people, right? So I came from the standpoint of always trying to be dressed up, always trying to speak as proper as possible and not offending people. But I think in today's day and age, with social media, especially where you get to actually take a deep look into someone's life, I can look you in the eye. I think what makes people stand out is the more relatable they are, right? That's why for myself, you'll catch me in t-shirts, right? Jeans, maybe some sweats, right? That's not to impress people. That's just who I am as a person. It doesn't change my IQ, it doesn't change my expertise. It's just if you can relate to that of operating your business at a high level while you're comfortable, whatever comfort looks like to you, we're going to click, right? And I've noticed most of my audience, they're in the same boat, right? I rarely get someone who's very suit and tied up, even though I come from that world, because they don't see someone in a t-shirt maybe as serious up until they kind of get into my content. They're like, oh crap, this guy knows what he's talking about. But again, that first layer is that relatable factor. I think that's what makes people stand out completely. And not being afraid to be controversial. And really controversial is just stating your damn opinion, right? Like, stop teetering the line, like staying in the middle of things and saying, well, I'm happy with this side, I'm happy. No, pick a side, like say your opinion. That's, I think, what really makes people stand out.
What's your most controversial opinion?
It depends, right? It depends, like, what do you consider controversial? Because like, even I know recently that people were talking about, politics and all this stuff. To me, I don't really care enough. So that's where I don't really teeter the side. I just don't, like, it's all in one ear out the other, because as entrepreneurs, like, it doesn't matter who's in office. It doesn't matter what policies they bring, right? It's been the same for decades, right? We make our own future. So it really does depend on what people deem as controversial.
All right. Well, you got to give me one. Give me a controversial opinion. I'm putting you on the spot.
I'm trying to think. Well, I'm trying to think. It depends. Like, if we're in conversation openly, I will gladly state how I feel about something within decent reason.
Okay. All right. All right. Yeah. Like, I guess, like, actually right now in the world, like, there's not the like politics and everything like that. It's getting kind of like normal, kind of even. Like, there's not that much news going on in the world right now.
Right.
I mean,
I'll say this.
Kind of a good thing.
I'll say this. Recently, I think Sha'Carri Johnson. What was her name?
The girl, is that the sprinter?
Stud Olympian. Yeah, stud Olympian.
Okay.
She got in trouble for like smoking weed and something like that. And I know a lot of the world was saying, she should still run and things of that nature. In my opinion, she did break a rule, right? Ooh. Rightfully so. And I think with that, she's going to pay the price for it, which she is right now. However, I think what she should do is because right now, I think she's getting more PR now that she can't run than if she was able to run, because it'd be kind of like expected. But now that she has all this PR, I thoroughly believe she should leverage it to now grow her business and her brand, whatever she's trying to do on the side of Olympics, to then come back even stronger later on. But just bite the bullet now, because you did break a rule. Unfortunately, whether you should run or not is up to the rules.
So you're saying you agree with the ruling. That actually is a controversial opinion, because I feel like 95% of people are like, oh my God, who cares? She smoked a little bit of weed. Like, it's not even a performance enhancing drug. But you're saying, like, she broke a rule. Like, I support it. That is controversial.
I don't agree with the rule, but I do agree with the fact that she needs to abide, because no one's above it, right? Nature, right? So I don't agree with the rule, because to my knowledge, I don't know the ins and outs of the Olympics. However, from what she did, that's not a PED, right? I've never met someone who is high and can run faster. Right. You know what I mean? So it's not a PED. So I don't agree with the rule. However, I do agree with the fact that she broke a rule and now she has to abide by those rules. However, with how young she is, I thoroughly believe from a marketing brain, take advantage of the PR you're getting now from bad news or good news and build off from there.
Yeah, and
And
a lot of
that may
people are.
be where people say, oh, she's going to take advantage of it. Man, get out of here.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
a lot of people are on her side. So like, yeah, her name is elevated right now. She should do something with it.
Take advantage of it. Right?
What should she do? What should she do? Get like a commercial for like a weed company or something, or like do you think she should
Well,
start?
we'll put it this way. It was something that she's passionate about, right? Because that's the thing.
Okay.
If you just go, and I was just talking about this on another podcast, someone was asking me what sort of business should I start. It's never really about that, because if you start a business that I may be passionate about, you may be making a lot of money, but you'll burn out faster because you don't even like it, right? So whatever she's passionate about, it could be nonprofit, for profit, whatever it is, something she's always wanted to do. Your name is trending on Google right now for 2 weeks straight.
Right.
Utilize it to build the
Right.
thing that you always wanted to build. You know, now that you're not running, might as well utilize it.
Yeah, I always think that's interesting because like I understand the passion thing. Like I do sell girls clothing, so like that isn't necessarily my passion, but like the passion that I have for it is like just the business and the employees and the
building, I can
production
tell.
and yeah, and like the everything involved in,
Yeah.
in the hiring and the ad spend. Like I love business. That is my passion, and I came across this product. My now wife, like, kind of, we found this niche of monogrammed clothing. It's very popular in the South, and I'm not that necessarily that passionate about the product, but like I kind of am now because I love the customers. But like, but in that sense, my passion is like business. So that is that's following your passion, right?
Well, I mean, tell me this: do you like the process of finding something profitable?
Oh hell yeah!
There it is. So it doesn't matter what the actual end thing is for you. Your passion is finding. I mean, you're kind of like me, right? You like to test, tinker, right? See what's working, see what's not. So it doesn't matter what the thing is. It's just as long as I'm tinkering with it and it's giving me that passion of like seeing what's going to work and what's going to not work, right? That's where it sounds like your passion is.
Yeah, absolutely. And
yeah,
like you talked about fulfillment. Like it's the most corny statement in the world, but it's so true. Is the fact that like it's all about being happy. It's all about being happy. But it's like not corny. It's so true. And like people who want to start businesses to be cool, like look like an entrepreneur, like okay, but remember that ultimately it's about being happy, like to yourself, and that can be many different things. And go jump out in the world and learn like what makes you happy. A lot of people say they don't know what makes them happy.
Right.
How do you find out? You just gotta kind of try stuff, right?
You gotta try stuff. That's the thing. And I mean, that's another place where people hit that fear of the unknown is I don't know what the result will be. So then it becomes a choice of, do you want to stay where you are and not find fulfillment, which won't be a great space, or go try a bunch of things until you find something, right? Again, I've went through 2 failed projects. I'm sure you've had a few failures yourself, but
I've had a few, yeah.
You find what works, but it takes trying to do it, right?
Right. And like going through that pain, it actually like evolutionarily, biology wise, like it feels good when you like are down and then are up. Like, so you can't be you can't have that feeling without the down. So like when you're in the down, just think, this is what I need. Every superhero movie, there's always a time where the superhero's down, or else it's not a movie. A movie has to have a climax. Like this movie is your life. Like it's a good thing that something's going bad. Now you can overcome it and feel even better on the other side. And that's what I always tell myself when I'm down.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, it goes back to another cheesy, corny saying is there are no such things as losses. There's only lessons, right? So if you can just shift that little piece of seeing like, oh, I'm so down. Oh, this hurts. It seemed like, wait, hold on. I failed at this, but this is actually way better than anything I could read about online or listen to some YouTube video. I'm experiencing it. What did I learn? And what can I do next time to change the path to make it go the right way? You see what I'm saying? So when you shift failure to seeing it as not a loss, it's a lesson. What's the experience I gained from this?
Right.
You're only going to get to that destination so much faster.
And so many people say like, we'll learn from other people's failures. That's easier said than done. That's actually hard to do. It's actually hard to learn from other people's failures because you don't go through the emotional toll. Yeah. So like, and so many people, they hear things and they hear it and they hear it and they hear it, but they don't. And if you ask them what it was, they could say it, but they don't know. They don't know it. They don't know it. So you have to have those learned experiences. It's just life, right? And if you're good enough, I was gonna say, if you're good enough to actually learn from other people's failures and like never have your own, like power to you.
But then that's the thing, right? You can go. Let's say you get to the highest peak, as soon as that first failure hits you, you won't even know how to respond because you haven't failed before.
Right.
Like that's the thing, is after a bad sales call or a bad day in ads where you spend a couple grand and you get zero back, right? If you've never experienced that before, that's a heart attack waiting to happen, right?
Yeah,
But once
exactly.
you've had those micro losses, I mean, like for you, right? You start your own podcast. You can tell a lot of people about the pitfalls, right? The things to avoid. However, at the end of the day, you need to just start your own podcast to learn some different things, because there may be some pitfalls that you didn't experience that someone else may experience, right? So you just got to do it, man. You just got to do it.
You can't get giant muscles by reading about weightlifting.
Exactly.
You know, you have to do it. You have to do it.
You got to do it. You got to do it. Like my guy Shia LaBeouf said.
I love Shia LaBeouf. He's so funny. Do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. He's funny, man. He's a funny guy.
He's a trip.
But dude, like, this is awesome stuff. And like this is talked about all the time. Like, but it hits people at different times. It's so important to just like you're in the entrepreneur space. Like, do you ever get bored of like the repetitiveness of talking about, like, right now I'm feeling awesome about it, but just go out there, do it, fail, be okay with failure, overcome it, do it again, don't give up, be self-confident. Like, that stuff is ingrained inside of me. That's all. That's like the best thing in the world, isn't it? That's what you want people to know that follow you.
It is, man. It is. I mean, because at the end of the day, I relate this back to business, right? A lot of people are listening to this podcast. They want to make more money, right? Most likely. But something that I learned in business, one of my biggest even aha moments was your income is directly correlated to the amount of offers that you make, right? So if you look at your bank statement today or your bank account today and ask yourself, okay, how many people did I ask to buy yesterday? How many people did I ask to buy the day before? How many people did I ask to buy in the last week? If you look at that number, I bet you will see a direct correlation with your income, right? Wow. And that applies to life as well. How many things have you tried to get fulfillment or the result or the goal or whatever it is, right? If you did the same thing, repetitive nature, that didn't get you the result yesterday, did you do it the day before? Did you do it for the last week? If you look at your activity over the last 7 days and you look at where you are with that result, you'll see a direct correlation. That's what I would have for anybody who is walking away from this podcast.
Nsenzi, that is gold. That is gold. And I hope everyone listening like takes that, rewind it, listen to it again. Yes. That's gold right there. I love it. So, all right, man, it's been awesome. Tell everybody where to go to follow you, where to find you. We're going to link it up. We're going to post it. Where do people get in touch?
Yeah, man, much appreciated. I mean, first things first, my name is simple, right? I should be the only one around. So just Nsenzi on everything, Facebook, Instagram.
There's an N in front of it.
There is an N in front of it.
I tried to search you a couple of times and I was like, I had to go back to the email to copy it. And then I got it down eventually.
Yes. So Nsenzi, if you want to, if you want to grow your business and really learn some from some of my content, at Nsenzi on Instagram, Facebook, everything, Nsenzi.com. But if you want to grow your business even faster, just go pick up our free course on really how to scale and get clients online at useoursystem.com. Useoursystem.com. It's free. Just tell me where to send it and I will get that to you. Thanks, Sean. Appreciate you, man.
Useoursystem.com. It's free. It's free.
Yeah, it's free. Take it.
You're the man. Thank you so much for coming on. It's been so much fun. You're my first guest in the new studio, and you'll always have a place in my heart for that.
Love it, brother. Thank you for having me. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, dude.